What if your spare change could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even over $100,000? These aren't just coins, they're hidden treasures. Today, we reveal the top 4 ultra-rare Australian 5C, 10C, 20C, and 50C coins that could turn your pocket money into a gold mine. Part 1, a quick history, the 50-cent coin in Australia. The Australian 50-cent coin has always been a standout, literally. It's the largest and one of the most uniquely shaped coins in our decimal system. Introduced in 1966, the original round 50-cent piece was made of 80% silver, but it was quickly withdrawn from circulation due to the rising price of silver. From 1969 onward, the coin was minted in a 12-sided dodecagon shape, and made from copper-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. It features the Australian coat of arms, a kangaroo, an emu, and a shield representing the 6 states. By 1981, the 50-cent coin had become a staple of everyday Australian currency, but this particular year hides a valuable secret. Part 2, what makes the 1981 50-cent coin so special? In 1981, something very unusual happened in the production of Australian 50-cent coins. The demand for coins that year was so high that the Royal Australian Mint outsourced production to 2 overseas mints. The Royal Mint in London. The Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. That means in 1981, Australian 50-cent coins were struck across 3 different mints, Canberra, Australia, London, and Canada. Now here's the twist. Each mint produced slightly different versions of the 1981 50-cent coin. While they were meant to be identical, minor design differences and striking characteristics accidentally created rare and collectible varieties. And one of those varieties? It's now considered one of Australia's rarest and most valuable circulating coins. Part 3, the Canadian Mint Mystery, the rarest of them all. The Canadian minted 1981 50-cent coin is the real star of this story. While millions of coins were struck across the 3 mints, only a very small portion were minted in Canada, and even fewer survive today in high-grade condition. But what makes the Canadian version so special? 1. Distinctive features. Coins from the Canadian Mint have a visibly different obverse and reverse die strike. The coat of arms appears slightly more detailed and has different spacing in the lettering. Also, the Queen's portrait, by Arnold Mackin, may look slightly softer or smoother due to the different minting equipment used in Canada. 2. Die alignment and edging. Collectors have reported subtle differences in the die alignment and edge characteristics, which can be used to authenticate the Canadian variety. 3. Exceptionally rare in uncirculated condition. Because so many of these coins entered circulation, it's incredibly difficult to find a Canadian 1981 50-cent coin in uncirculated, mint state, condition. The few that exist are extremely valuable. Part 4, the value, just how much is this coin worth? Now to the part you've been waiting for, how much is it worth? If you've got an ordinary 1981 50-cent coin from Australia's Royal Mint, it might be worth 50 cents to a few dollars in circulated condition. But if you've got one of the rare Canadian minted 1981 coins, especially in uncirculated or proof-like condition, then you're talking serious money. Here's what collectors have paid. Circulated Canadian 1981 coin, $20 to $100. High-grade uncirculated version, MS64, MS66 $500 to $2,000. Extremely rare proof-like or MS67 plus graded coins, $5,000 to $15,000. A perfect coin with a certified provenance could potentially reach $20,000 or more at auction, depending on demand. That's right, a coin you may have ignored in your drawer or coin jar could be worth as much as a car, or even more. Part 5, how to spot a rare 1981 50-cent coin. So how do you know if your 1981 50-cent coin is the rare Canadian version? 1. Look for subtle design differences. Inspect the coat of arms, spacing, font thickness, and placement may differ. Look at the Queen's portrait. The Canadian version tends to appear slightly flatter and more washed out. 2. Die edge and rim. Canadian coins often have a slightly thicker rim and a different reed pattern on the edge. 3. Weight and thickness. While all should weigh 15.55 grams, minor differences may occur due to minting tolerances. 4. Get it professionally graded. If you suspect your coin is a rare Canadian strike, send it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. A professionally graded coin with Canadian Mint attribution will command far more value. Part 6. Where to buy or sell rare 1981 50-cent coins. If you're looking to buy or sell one of these coins, here's where to go. 1. Reputable coin dealers. Australian numismatic dealers often have the expertise to identify Canadian Mint coins and may offer you top dollar. 2. Online marketplaces, with caution. Websites like eBay can be useful, but make sure the coin is properly certified and authenticated before buying or selling. 3. Auctions. Major coin auctions in Australia and internationally have featured 1981 Canadian Mint coins, sometimes selling for record-breaking amounts. Part 1. Background, the 20-cent coin's origin. To understand why the 1973 20-cent coin is such a big deal, let's rewind for a moment. Australia transitioned to decimal currency in 1966, replacing pounds, shillings, and pence with dollars and cents. Among the new coins introduced was the 20-cent piece. The reverse side of the 20-cent coin featured the iconic platypus, designed by Stuart Devlin, a master craftsman who also designed many of Australia's early decimal coins. The obverse showed Queen Elizabeth II, as was the tradition. By 1973, the Royal Australian Mint had already established regular production of the 20-cent coin, making millions each year. But something unusual happened that year, a printing anomaly and mintage quirk that would one day make the 1973 coin famous. Part 2. What makes the 1973 20-cent coin so rare? In 1973, the Royal Australian Mint only produced approximately 2 million 20-cent coins. Compare that to other years where tens of millions were minted. This already puts the 1973 issue on the rarer side. But that's not all. What has truly driven the value and mystery of the 1973 20-cent coin is the no obverse detail error coin. Some of these coins were struck with significant minting flaws, the most notable being weak or missing obverse features. The portrait of the Queen is barely visible or entirely missing, often due to a dye fill error during the minting process. Off-center strikes or double strikes. These extremely rare errors cause design elements to be misaligned or repeated on the same coin. High-grade uncirculated specimens, a small handful of 1973 coins that were never circulated and preserved in perfect condition, are worth massive sums to collectors. Part 3. The value. Just how much is this coin worth? Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets truly exciting. A standard circulated 1973 20-cent coin is relatively scarce and can fetch $20 to $100, depending on its condition. But the coins with errors or high grades? That's where we start talking serious money. A 1973 20-cent coin in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition, graded MS65 or higher, can sell for $500 to $2,000. Coins with striking errors such as off-center or dye-fill flaws have been known to fetch upwards of $5,000. And here's the jaw-dropper: a rare 1973 20-cent coin in pristine proof-like condition, or with an extremely rare minting anomaly, has been estimated to be worth $10,000 to $25,000 or more. That's right, a single coin that originally bought you a stick of gum could now buy you a brand new car. And the market is still growing, as more collectors enter the scene, driving up demand for these rare finds. Part 4. How to identify a valuable 1973 20-cent coin. So how do you know if you've struck numismatic gold? Here's what to look for. Check the date. The coin should clearly be from 1973. Inspect the obverse, Queen's head. Part 1. Background, the 20-cent coin's origin. To understand why the 1973 20-cent coin is such a big deal, let's rewind for a moment. Australia transitioned to decimal currency in 1966, replacing pounds, shillings, and pence with dollars and cents. Among the new coins introduced was the 20-cent piece. The reverse side of the 20-cent coin featured the iconic platypus, designed by Stuart Devlin, a master craftsman who also designed many of Australia's early decimal coins. The obverse showed Queen Elizabeth II, as was the tradition. By 1973, the Royal Australian Mint had already established regular production of the 20-cent coin, making millions each year. But something unusual happened that year, a printing anomaly and mintage quirk that would one day make the 1973 coin famous. Part 2. What makes the 1973 20-cent coin so rare? In 1973, the Royal Australian Mint only produced approximately 2 million 20-cent coins. Compare that to other years where tens of millions were minted. This already puts the 1973 issue on the rarer side. But that's not all. What has truly driven the value and mystery of the 1973 20-cent coin is the no obverse detail error coin. Some of these coins were struck with significant minting flaws, the most notable being weak or missing obverse features. The portrait of the queen is barely visible or entirely missing, often due to a die fill error during the minting process. Off-center strikes or double strikes. These extremely rare errors cause design elements to be misaligned or repeated on the same coin. High-grade uncirculated specimens, a small handful of 1973 coins that were never circulated and preserved in perfect condition, are worth massive sums to collectors. Part 3, the value. Just how much is this coin worth? Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets truly exciting. A standard circulated 1973 20-cent coin is relatively scarce and can fetch $20 to $100, depending on its condition. But the coins with errors or high grades? That's where we start talking serious money. A 1973 20-cent coin in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition, graded MS65 or higher, can sell for $500 to $2,000. Coins with striking errors such as off-center or die fill flaws have been known to fetch upwards of $5,000. And here's the jaw-dropper: a rare 1973 20-cent coin in pristine proof-like condition, or with an extremely rare minting anomaly, has been estimated to be worth $10,000 to $25,000 or more. That's right, a single coin that originally bought you a stick of gum could now buy you a brand new car. And the market is still growing, as more collectors enter the scene, driving up demand for these rare finds. Part 4, how to identify a valuable 1973 20-cent coin. So how do you know if you've struck numismatic gold? Here's what to look for. Check the date. The coin should clearly be from 1973. Inspect the obverse, Queen's head. The 1996 Australian 10-cent coin, history and context. Before we dive into the value of the 1996 10-cent coin, let's take a quick look at its background. The Australian 10-cent coin, along with the rest of the decimal currency, was introduced in 1966, when Australia shifted from the British imperial system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a decimal system. The 10-cent coin was made to represent a tenth of the Australian dollar, and it was designed to be a practical and easily recognizable coin. The 1996 10-cent coin features the iconic design of a lyrebird, a native Australian bird famous for its elaborate and beautiful tail feathers. The lyrebird, which is known for its extraordinary ability to mimic sounds from its environment, was designed by the artist and engraver, Stuart Devlin. The reverse side of the coin depicts a detailed representation of this bird, while the obverse side shows a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. What makes the 1996 10-cent coin so rare? The rarity of the 1996 10-cent coin stems from a production error that happened during the minting process. In 1996, there was a unique and unexpected problem at the Royal Australian Mint. The minting press that was used to produce the coins had a malfunction, leading to a small batch of 10-cent coins being produced with a major flaw. This mistake created a particular variation of the 1996 10-cent coin, which is the one that collectors and numismatists go crazy for. You see, some of the 1996 10-cent coins were struck with a double strike error, where the image of the lyrebird appeared twice on the coin. This error wasn't noticed by the mint at the time, meaning that these coins were released into circulation like any other coin. These double strike coins are extremely rare, and their value skyrocketed once collectors began to notice the discrepancy. Additionally, another variation of the 1996 10-cent coin was produced with an off-center strike, which makes it another highly desirable version among collectors. This means the image of the lyrebird appears off-center, and these are extremely rare to find in good condition. How valuable are these coins? Now, the big question: how much is the 1996 10-cent coin worth? The value of these coins varies depending on their condition and rarity. In general, a standard 1996 10-cent coin in good condition is worth its face value of 10 cents, but the real value lies in the error coins. These coins can sell for anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the minting error and how rare the coin is. For a 1996 10-cent coin with a double strike error or an off-center strike, the value can easily climb to hundreds of dollars. The more significant the error and the better the coin's condition, the higher the value. It's not unheard of for these error coins to be sold for $500 to $1,000 on the market, and in some cases, even higher. If you happen to find a 1996 10-cent coin with a particularly pronounced and rare error, you could be looking at a potential windfall. Some collectors have paid up to $10,000 or more for the rarest specimens. Yes, you read that right. A simple 10-cent coin can fetch a 5-figure sum, making it one of the most surprising coins in Australian numismatics. But wait, there's more. The rarer the coin, the higher the price. Some of these coins have been known to auction for staggering prices. The most valuable 1996 10-cent coins can reach up to $50,000 or more. Imagine finding one of these in your pocket change. That's life-changing money right there. How to spot a rare 1996 10-cent coin. Now that you know how valuable these coins can be, it's time to learn how to spot them. It's all about keeping an eye out for those minting errors. Here's how you can identify if your 1996 10-cent coin is one of the rare, valuable ones. Double strike. If the image of the lyrebird is blurry, doubled, or appears multiple times, you've got yourself a rare coin with a double strike error. This is one of the most sought-after variations. Off-center strike, look at the edges of the coin. If the design is not aligned properly and the image of the lyrebird is off-center, you could have a coin that's worth a fortune. Condition. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Coins in mint or near-mint condition, with little to no wear, are much more valuable. Look for the 1996 date. Make sure the coin you're looking at is actually from 1996. Sometimes collectors may mistake coins from different years, which may not hold the same value. Where to sell your rare 1996 10-cent coin. If you happen to find a rare 1996 10-cent coin, the next step is to sell it. There are several ways to go about this. Auction houses. Specialist auction houses that deal in rare coins, such as the Australian coin auctions or international coin auctions, are great places to sell your rare coins. Online marketplaces, websites like eBay have a thriving community of collectors, where you can auction your coin to the highest bidder. Coin dealers, reach out to reputable coin dealers who specialize in rare Australian coins. They may offer you a fair price for your rare find. The mysterious rare 1975-cent coin. Now, here's where the story takes an exciting twist. Most of the 1975-cent coins produced are not that different from other standard circulating coins. However, a few coins were minted in a way that makes them incredibly rare. These rare pieces, often referred to as the 1970 No P or No Mint Mark 5-cent coins, are missing a key feature, the Mint Mark P, which usually indicates that the coin was minted at the Perth Mint. This absence of the P mint mark was not intentional, it was an error during the coin's production. The Perth Mint had a mint mark that signified the minting location, but for a small batch of 1970 coins, it simply didn't get stamped. This error was a minor slip-up at the time, but today, it is one of the most sought-after and valuable coin errors in Australian history. Why is this coin so valuable? You might be wondering. Why does a small error like missing a mint mark turn an ordinary 5-cent coin into something worth hundreds or thousands of dollars? Here's the kicker, because so few of these no-P coins were ever released, and because they were not originally recognized as valuable, the rarity of these coins has only grown as collectors and numismatists, coin experts, have slowly discovered them. As a result, these error coins have become extremely rare and highly coveted. When you combine rarity with the allure of a minting mistake, it creates a perfect storm for high demand in the collector's market. If you happen to find one of these elusive coins tucked away in your collection or lying around in your change jar, you could be holding a potential fortune. What's the real value of a rare 1975-cent coin? Now, we come to the million-dollar question: how much are these rare 1975-cent coins actually worth? The answer is, a lot. Here's a breakdown of what makes this coin worth such an incredible amount. The current market, coins with a minting error, especially from a period like the 1970s, tend to fetch higher prices because of their rarity and the nostalgia attached to them. A single 1970 No-P 5-cent coin can range anywhere from $100 to $1,000 depending on its condition, with some coins in near mint or uncirculated condition possibly pushing well beyond that range. The high-end sales, but it doesn't stop there. On rare occasions, a particularly well-preserved 1970 no p5 coin can command even higher prices. Some have been known to fetch between $10,000 and $50,000 in auctions, particularly when buyers are fighting to add the piece to their collections. And for truly unique examples, such as coins with certain desirable qualities or additional errors, the price can climb into the six figures. Coin auctions. When put up for auction, rare error coins like these sometimes go for record-breaking prices, with the right buyer willing to pay whatever it takes to own a piece of history. It's not uncommon for them to break into the $100,000 plus range, particularly when the market is hot and collectors are actively competing for prized error coins. How to spot the rare 1970 no p coin? Finding a rare coin, like the 1970 no p5 isn't easy. It requires sharp eyes and a bit of knowledge. But with the right tools and awareness, it is certainly possible. Here's what you should look for. No mint mark. The most significant identifying feature of the rare 1975 coin is the absence of the mint mark P. If the coin is a regular version, it will have a P just below the date. If this is missing, you might have stumbled upon a highly valuable error coin. Condition matters. As with all rare coins, the condition is a huge factor in its value. Coins that are in excellent condition, unblemished, with sharp details and minimal wear, will be worth significantly more. A coin in poor condition will still hold value, but nowhere near as much as a coin that is well preserved. Expert appraisal. If you suspect you found one of these rare error coins, it's a good idea to have it authenticated by a professional. Getting a certificate of authenticity can add significant value to the coin and make it easier to sell if you decide to part with it. How to cash in on the 1975 coin? The great thing about coin collecting today is that it's easier than ever to tap into the market and potentially make a lot of money from your finds. If you believe you've come across a rare 1975 coin, there are several ways to capitalize on its value. Selling through auctions. Online platforms like eBay, as well as specialized coin auction houses, are ideal places to put your rare coin up for bidding. These venues attract collectors from all over the world who are looking for rare finds like yours. Selling to dealers. Numismatic dealers are often willing to pay top dollar for rare coins, especially ones with significant errors. However, you may want to get multiple quotes to ensure you're getting the best price. Converting it to cash. If you're simply interested in getting cash now, you can find buyers willing to purchase error coins at a discounted rate, but you may not get the maximum potential value unless you go through a more formal sale process.